Well, how fun is this video going to be today? So we are revisiting some older products that I haven't used in quite some time. I was super thrilled when I came across them. I'm like, oh my goodness, some of these are such hidden gems. So I have for you a mix of drugstore high-end. I think I have a good complement of both to suit everybody's needs. If you're curious to see what products those are, let's get into it. So I was looking for an item the other day, like a makeup item that I was wanting to use. And then I just went down the rabbit hole of going through some of my makeup and discovering, oh, I haven't used this in so long. Oh my goodness, I haven't used this in so long. Oh, this was one of my favorites I used to use all the time. Then I had the epiphany of, why don't I create a video of products that aren't new? Like, they're products that I used to love and they've just kind of gotten down into the bottom of my makeup like totes that I have. So then I thought my viewers would probably appreciate that, because I'm sure that there is so many of these products that I'm going to show you today that you may have in your makeup collection. Because I know a lot of people don't go running out and grabbing the latest and greatest. You know, I used to do that before my YouTube channel. I would love to try all the new stuff that was coming out, but I wasn't running out and grabbing all the stuff. But it's been a really, really long time since I've used some of these. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to first start off with the Milani Eyeshadow Primer. It's one of my absolute favorite eyeshadow primers. I usually go in with about that much, and that does both eyes. It's a really creamy texture, but I can't believe the difference that this makes with my eyeshadow staying on longer and not creasing. I find when I use concealer, I get a little bit of like creasing right in my inner eye area here where I have wrinkles. It just seems to collect when I use a concealer, but it doesn't do that when I use this wonderful Milani eyeshadow primer. I will have everything linked and listed down below for you guys, but this is one of the best ones out there. So then I just kind of pat that in, and I'm going to let that sit. Okay, so I ditched the clips that I had in there. They just were not working for me, so we're just going to put my hair behind my ears today. Next, we're going to go in with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. Again, haven't used this for so long. This is like one of those cult classics. It's quite a thick formula. And it literally feels like a putty. So I take usually about that much. And I apply this where I have the biggest pores. It really does help. It gives it like a nice little slip to the skin. It does have squalene in it. And I concentrated a little bit on my forehead where I have the biggest, my forehead wrinkles. And then down in here where I have all the pores, I take it along my smile lines. But this really does help the makeup stay on longer for the day. Fills in all those little gaps. Take it kind of into my 11s, fills in those little spots. And then I just give it a little tap in. It does say to give it about 30 seconds to set. I usually give it a little bit longer than that. I find sometimes if you don't give products time to set, it can start to pill on you. And now I've progressed into a ponytail because that was my hair is just bugging me today. So this is one product that I do want to do a follow-up from my last video, and it's the Maybelline the Build-A-Brow. So I'll put the thumbnail here if you haven't checked out that video. So that is from last week. What happened was I picked up the wrong shade. So this one I did go up and exchange it. This is now the shade a deep brown, and thank you so much. There was a bunch of people that left a comment for me saying, well, I thought your brows looked wonderful, they look great. But what the camera wasn't picking up is how they looked almost, I had a reddish tinge to them when I could see them in the mirror here. And I was like, oh, okay, that's definitely not the right shade. So the camera wasn't picking that up. And even when I went into the store to exchange it, the girl standing at the counter, she goes, oh yeah, no, I can see that's the wrong shade. She goes, yeah, you can see it almost has like a red tinge to it, she said. And I said, yeah. So I said, can I just exchange the shade? So she said, absolutely. So I went with this one, as I'm fighting with the packaging. You can hear that. So, because I really did like, I got it. I really did like the actual product, but we'll see now if it's going to look way better with that new shade. So I don't know if you need to shake it, but I am. All right, so let's see if this is better. It does come like a felt, almost looks like a felt tip. Yeah, that's way, way better. What I really did like about the product is it fills in all of those gaps that sometimes even a pencil I find hard trying to get in and fill up those little sparse areas. So now it doesn't have another end to it. That is like a gel formula and like a little brush. And then you run that through the brow. Yeah, that's way better. The shade, I love the shade. It's more of a richer brown. And the other nice thing about this pen is that the gel doesn't leave your eyebrows like flaky or like crusty. Sometimes they can be quite thick, like the formula is quite thick, and it almost feels like your eyebrows are in a layer of like crustiness. But this is really nice and soft. There's no crusty going on, so I really like the formula. Now in my last video, and you'll see this in like several of my other videos, when I go to do like wing eyeliners and that sort of thing, I usually use some kind of tape. And my go-to is usually the Sephora. It's just a makeup tape. Well, when I went to link it the other day in my video, I couldn't see it on the Sephora website anymore. And so I was like super, super bummed because this is all I use. It comes like as a roll. I usually just take like a little piece at a time. So I was like, oh no, Sephora, you've gotten rid of my favorite makeup tape. So we'll see. I'll have to try and find like an alternative to that because I've used like even just like Scotch tape in the past. And I find that tugs on the eye, which, you know, is not great for the eyes. So if you guys know of anything like that, similar, please let me know down in the comments. I even had one of the viewers say to me, why is the tape at a different angle? And it's like, this isn't an exact science. it just kind of, it just goes on. I try and make it exact as I can, but sometimes, you know, one goes a little higher than the other. So, you know, like right now they look pretty similar, but we're just winging it. So out of all the eyeshadow palettes, this is the one I went with. I mean, I could have shown a bunch of other eyeshadow palettes, but this is one of my OG favorites from a long time ago. And I think a bunch of you probably have this in your collection. It's the Colorpop Stone Cold Fox palette. This is such a gem. I love, love, love this palette. Now, if you're one of my Canadian viewers, I did have to order this actually from Colorpop. This was like a few years ago. They do have, sometimes they have like sales where you can get like a couple of palettes and then you get free shipping. We do have to pay a little bit of duty because it is coming from the States, but I actually can't remember how much I ended up paying for this one, but it wasn't all that expensive. But this is so well loved, as you'll see. Oh my goodness, you guys, look at that. So this was one of those ones where I just went, oh my goodness, I haven't used this in so long. I have to use this one today. It has such a beautiful color story. I love the mix of like neutrals. You have some of these shades here where you could use those as your eyeliners. So I'm first going to start with a big fluffy eyeshadow brush. This is the BK Beauty 201 brush. Look at how big and fluffy that is. And to start off with just a really basic transition shade today, we're going to go in with this shade right here. It's called Trip. I'm just going to put that all over my lid, and that just helps take away any redness that you may have. I mean, the eyeshadow primer has done a pretty good job with that, with taking some of the veins and all that sort of stuff away. But I always like to go in first with a transition shade, right from top to bottom. All right, so the next shade we're going to go in with is this, it's like a dusty rose, and it's called Stone Age. It's that one right there. And I'm going to use the Sigma. This is the E36. It's a blending, really pretty blending brush. Has a little bit of give to it, which I really like that. And for this one, we're just going to concentrate right in this area here, just right above my crease. If you have hooded eyes, that's the best technique, is you don't want to put it right into the crease, you want to put it right above it. It gives the illusion of the eye being a little bit more opened up. And I'm going to concentrate it just a little bit on this outer edge here as well. Now I want to add a little bit more warmth to the top of my eyelid. So we're going to go in with this brown shade right there. And that is called Enigma. And I'm going to go in with the Rephr 16 brush. This is such a beautiful fluffy brush. Look at that. It's like a little dome there. And then I'm ever so slightly just putting it right up, right under my brow bone. The formulation of Colorpop eyeshadows is just incredible. They're so buttery, but they stay in place. And I find I never have any issues with creasing. Even if I don't wear like a primer on my eyelid, I never have any issues with the formula creasing on me. And then I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer like I usually do. So we're going to go in with this beautiful shade right here. And it's called So Fine, and it really is so fine. And I'm using just my finger. Look at the gorgeous, gorgeous shimmer on that. And I'm going to apply it right in the inner corner, about halfway on my eyelid. Oh my goodness, you guys, these are so pigmented. Oh my goodness. The quality is just amazing. Like, look at the difference. Love it. So the eyeliner we're using today is the Makeup by Mario. This is the Master Pigment Pro. I have this one in the shade Perfect Brown. What I love about this pencil is the creaminess. So it's just a gorgeous brown, this particular shade. The line just glides on, and it has two ends to it. So if you want to do like a little bit of a wing, he has a little like brush on the other end. And one thing I like about his products is he always includes in his packaging, he has like a little pencil sharpener, but this just glides on, but it gives you enough time to work with the product as well. It does dry down. Now it doesn't have to be perfect, because then when you go in with the other end, you just kind of soften it up. What's nice about this liner is it's super long lasting. Like, it's not going to fade throughout the day. Gives like a really rich formula. It's one of the few pencils that I can use without, you know, sometimes like when I put eyeliner on, I do, and I know I'm not supposed to do it. I know. I can't help it. I do kind of tug a little bit on my eye to get the pencil to work. But this one is just the creaminess of it is amazing that I don't have to do that. I just apply it. And then what I usually do is once I remove the tape, and then I still use that little brush end, and it's still a little bit pliable to work with. And then I just fill in if there's any little gaps. Okay, so we're going to come back to the eyes, and I'll finish off a little bit of the fine tuning there. But we're going to go in next with a wonderful, wonderful foundation. And that is the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I have this in the shade Light. I believe it's called Deauville. It's a very liquidy consistency. You can hear it when I'm shaking it. And it has been like a hot minute since I've used this foundation. So I was like, oh, this was so beautiful on the skin. So it comes as a pump packaging. And I usually just apply to the back of my hand about that much. I like applying this one with a sponge. But this was one of the foundations that won an Allure Best of Beauty Award. I think it was like 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll just go in with my e.l.f. sponge. So this one has quite a large like shade range for you. It blends so easily. This is one of those foundations that is like a makeup but a skincare foundation all in one. It is going to give you more of a natural finish. I'm going to say it's more on the medium side. What I like about this formula is it's very like lightweight, very breathable, never feels heavy on my face. It doesn't settle into all of my fine lines. It doesn't crease. You can build it up if you want a little bit more coverage. It's great for all skin types. But look at the beautiful coverage. So this is the side that I've done, and this is the side not done yet. So just a fantastic foundation. Love it. And then I was just wiping the back of my hand because I had a little bit of foundation, so I was just rubbing it in. But then look at that eyeliner. That is just like I'm rubbing it off, and it is staying there. It's not budging. So next on the agenda is concealer. Now the one that is my go-to that I haven't used in a really, really long time is the e.l.f. This is the Hydrating Concealer. Now if you have dry, mature under eyes, don't make the mistake that I did. And when it initially came out, they had the Camo Concealer. So I thought, okay, well, I'll give that a try. That was not good. That made my under eyes look like every little bit of moisture was just sucked right out of my under eyes. So then they came out with the hydrating one. Much different story. This one is great if you have mature eyes. Now I believe the difference is this is the original, so it has a black top. So that's the one I'm saying no go if you have dry mature eyes. This is the one with the white top. That's the hydrating one, and this one is awesome. This is the shade Light Sand. So I'm just giving it a good shake because I haven't used it in a while. So I want to make sure it's all mixed up here. This one has quite a large doe foot applicator. So it's a nice light shade. And this one, again, I just apply a little bit right where I'm darkest, like right there. I'm not using any color corrector today because I just want to show you guys how well this covers up my dark pigmentation. And then we'll take it up here. Try not to disturb that tiny little wing we got going. But even as I rub it into my hand, you can see how well it covers up a bunch of my veins. So it's does a great job that way. And then what I usually do a lot is just let that concealer sit on my skin for about 30 seconds, and I find the warmth of my skin and the product helps it blend in a little bit better. And then I'm just gently patting it in with my fingers. You can use a brush if you want. And then what I do once I've worked it in with my fingers is I just go ahead and take my concealer brush. This is the Real Techniques concealer brush. And I gently just run it right underneath that wing just to clean it up a little bit. And then I'll take the sponge and just make sure everything is blended in from behind my eyebrow there. But see how well, look at how the coverage on it, it's amazing. It's really, really good. Now, a product I haven't used in a really, really long time, actually, is the Physicians Formula. This is the Sculpting Bronzer. Now, what you can do is use this as like a contour, but I prefer to use it just as like a bronzer. So it just comes as a twist-up stick. This is like a really blendable, but yet a buildable formula. And it's like a cream to powder type of formulation. The recommendation is to warm it on the back of your hand. So that's how I usually apply it. So I take a bunch like this. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say I have this in the shade Toffee. So I just do that. And then I just take like a foundation brush, apply a little bit to the brush, and then I just gently start patting it into on my cheek, like I normally would with any bronzer, like my hairline. I love how it gives just a really beautiful sun-kissed glow, really warms the complexion up, never looks orangey. I just take a little bit more. But like, look at as I'm patting it in, like look at how it blends out. Really is such a gorgeous, gorgeous formula. And it stays in place. That's what I really like about it. It's not a liquid formula, but it is very creamy. Look at how healthy that looks. It's gorgeous. I know the powder, Mirror powder bronzer is very, very popular. That's like an OG favorite. But I always like trying to different products that I think that they're like a hidden gem. Like I don't see a lot of people talking about this. It is an older product. It's definitely been around for a few years. Now because I have more of a creamier product for bronzer on my face, I usually like to go in with another, like either a creamy or a liquid type of blush next. So the one I'm going to be using today is the Fenty Beauty Cream Blush. I have this one in the shade Petal Poppin. Now I'm trying to remember, I think I had this in a video not that long ago of like favorites, but I didn't actually use it in the video. And I haven't used this in such a long time. So there's the shade there. It's quite pretty. Nice pink shade. Awesome for, I find, like spring. And then my favorite brush to go in with cream blushes and bronzers and that sort of thing is the Rephr. This is the 37 brush. So it has a nice little dome. But this is great for applying cream products. It's not too dense, but it has just enough firmness that is going to pick up the product. And you don't need a lot of this one, actually. That's all I'm going to be putting on the brush there. And I start off really, really light, and then I'll blend it back in. But her products are awesome for pigmentation. You can see, look at how it's really picking up there. And there's quite a few shades in this. It's really nice. I like cream products because they last longer, and I find on mature skin, they don't sink into all of the little fine lines and wrinkles. I always recommend for mature skin, like cream type of base products. And sometimes they're just easier to work with. I'm using a brush, but you could just go in with your fingers and apply it that way. And this particular product gives a nice healthy luminosity to the skin as well. So for highlighter today is the Makeup by Mario. And this is a soft glow highlighter. I have this in the shade Pearl. So pretty. Buttery texture. Just amazing. He has such great quality of his products. We're going to go in with the Sigma. This is the FO3. This is like a highlighter brush. Again, I don't need a lot of this product. But this is one of the ones that, it's not like a blinding highlighter. It just gives a nice, like a healthy glow. Doesn't sink into all of my crow's feet that are coming down this way. So let's go ahead and finish off the eyes now. So I'm going in with the Rephr Eyelash Curler. I always like to give my eyelashes a bit of a curl because my eyelashes kind of go straight out. So I want to give some curl to them. Now the mascara that I'm using today, I did run out and repurchase another one because when I picked it out of the bottom of my, my mascara bin, I was like, when was the last time I had this open? And I mean, with mascara, I'm sure you've heard, you should only have mascara open for about 3 months of use. And then you should toss it, just because it is so close to your eye area and you don't want to be getting any sort of infections or anything like that in your eyes. So I did run out and repurchase the L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. This is, again, one of those cult favorites, right? It's been around forever. I did pick up the shade Black Brown. You can see it's not like a black. It's just going to give a little bit of softness with that brown in there. So when I first open a mascara, I just make sure that it's kind of coated on the wand. And then I take it right at the base of my eye and wiggle it up. What I like about this mascara is it's still fairly, if you can find it on sale, it's still fairly affordable. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've really noticed even drugstore prices are just starting to climb. It does give you that nice volume. This one I used to use all of the time. This used to be my favorite, probably my most repurchased mascara. And then it's hard now. Like, I try not to have a bunch of mascaras open at any one time, but when you're constantly testing products out, it's hard not to open them up and test them out. But there it is. So this eye is the one that's done. Just fans out the eyelashes. I find this is never clumpy. It's not like a too wet of a mascara. Gives a little bit of length, not too much length. It's more giving a little bit more volume, but really enjoy it. That's like again, another one of those hidden gems that I don't see people talking about this one anymore. Now, I did recently have a viewer ask about what lashes that I use because I'm going to say for the last few months, all I've been doing is using like half lashes. I haven't done a full strip lash in like ages. What I've been using is the Ardell, just the natural lashes. That's just the style that I prefer. And what I've been doing is taking, I usually try and get like a big pack of them, like the full strip. And then I take one of the, like a pair of lashes, and then I just cut the lash in half, right in half. And then I use that outer part. It really gives like an uplifting effect to the eye. So then all I do is just apply it right on the outer edge and then squeeze it into place. And then what I've done in the past as well is I just take my mascara and just apply a little bit more so that you're putting the lashes with the regular lash, like your original lashes. And then same thing on this side, just right on the outer edge. Let's just stick. Okay, so this is now both eyes done. We're going to go in now with the Huda Beauty. This is the lip contour in the shade Honey Beige. So I'm using this as my lip liner today. But this is such a pretty shade. It's so complementary with other lip colors. It's really soft. Like even just the shade you could use when you fill in your whole lip. You could just throw a gloss on it and you'd be good to go out the door with that. Now, one of the things about using liquid lipsticks is some of them can be quite drying. But what I find about this brand is it's not like that at all. It feels very comfortable on the lips, and it almost feels like once you get it onto your lips, it's like a liquid to a powder formula. It does dry down to more like of a matte, but like I said, not drying at all. So the one I'm talking about is Anastasia Beverly Hills. But the shade that I am absolutely in love with is it's called Pure Hollywood. And it's like a mauve nude shade, but it pairs so nicely with the lip liner. And again, one of these products that I totally had forgotten about until I came across it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I haven't worn that shade in so long. Now, the tip of the wand is very precise on this end. So what you could do is almost use it as a lip liner. So sometimes what I do is I take it right along the lip line. And then one of the tips about liquid lipstick so you don't get that kind of pilly along the lips is I let it dry. I don't smack my lips together like I would like a normal lipstick. I just let it dry down. And then I find I don't get that little rim around my inner lip. If you wear liquid lipstick, you know what I'm talking about. So I need you guys to let me know whether you enjoy videos like this, because there was so many products that I could have used in this video. When you are testing out makeup all the time, there's some stuff, unfortunately, that just kind of gets pushed to the side. And then when you start revisiting them, and it's like, you're like, well, at least I am. I'm like a kid in a candy store when I find those, and I'm like, oh my goodness, those were so good, or that product was so good. Why did I stop using it? So let me know if you would like to see more like this, because I could probably have come up with another 10 videos with this similar theme using products that I haven't used in a long time. And they're just great, either drugstore products or high-end products. So let me know down in the comments. If you're new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing to my channel and becoming a little part of my world here on YouTube. Make sure to hit that notification bell right beside the subscribe button, and that way you're notified whenever I upload new videos. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. That also helps my channel out a lot. Everything will be linked and listed down below for you guys. And if you ever use any of my affiliate links, I thank you so much for helping to support my channel. And as always, I hope everybody has a great week and a great life, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!